Now, where y'all get these neon violins from? Huh? Where, Beyonce? Where you get them? Where they do that at? Top off the Maybach? Top off. Not me saying the whole chorus as the title. Silhouette, maybe a little cleavage, maybe a slit, you know. I sound like somebody auntie. What's that Top Off the Maybach song? She could just kind of be like the centerpiece of it all while everybody is just like, you know, moving around her, and she just, you know, gives. What can't this bitch do? Hello, divine ones. It's your girl Nerese, mother of the House of Divinity, and welcome to my YouTube channel where we discuss music, film, the arts, and empowerment and love and the things that go on in the industry for lessons and cautionary tales or, you know, enlightenment. So in this particular video, we are going to be discussing about the long-awaited performance that Beyonce gave at the Oscars. And so in tribute to her, I tried to get a little like green lighting situation going on here, but then, you know, I kind of need the lighting so y'all can see me. But, you know, the intention was there. So let's get into this intro. When you're an eccentric person with your own sense of style, beliefs, talents, flaws, and a mysterious cosmic energy, you are often misunderstood. We realize it's okay if we didn't fit into other solar systems because we were supposed to create our own. We will find and build a tribe of like-minded individuals. So, to the divine ones out there, welcome to the House of Divinity. So first of all, I did not realize that Beyonce was going to be starting the Oscars with her performance. Because in my mind, I was like, I know the Oscars know that if they put her in the beginning, ratings are going to drop immediately after she's done performing. So they might have her perform later on in the event just to kind of keep people waiting. But surprisingly, she performed at the beginning. And so I was thinking, okay, that kind of makes sense though, because, you know, if she does actually go to the awards show, waiting to get her award, that she unfortunately didn't get, but you know, that made sense for her to have a little bit of time to change, get her outfit together, and be at the show. So I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched it, I missed a little bit of the beginning, but shout out to Twitter and her eventually posting it on YouTube. I was able to get into it. There were so many things that I wanted to cover about this review. I'm not just gonna do your basic review that everybody else does where they talk, oh, she slayed, yes, ooh, yes, baby, ooh. You know, I mean, yeah, she did give me that. But me being the creative that I am, I'm going to be breaking this down kind of similarly to how I would put together a creative direction treatment for like a visual project. Because Beyonce gives that, you know. She gives you a set. She gives you costumes, fashion, glam, choreography, you know, angles with the cameras, all of that. And I wanted to discuss all those things because that's what I appreciate about an artist like Beyonce, who really takes the time to put together a production when it comes to her performances. Also, I know I don't say this in the beginning anymore. I stopped saying this for whatever reason. But make sure you like and comment. I know everybody be screaming for you to do that. I'm screaming for you to do that for me too. If you like the vibes, kiki in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions, what you enjoyed about the show. And if you like the vibes, like and subscribe and join the divine ones. All right, now let's get into this review. So I want to start off with the location, right? We see this massive set of everything neon, right? And there was kind of like rumors swirling around leading up to the performance that she was going to be performing at a tennis court where Serena and Venus rehearsed. Child, not rehearsed. where they practice for their games, right? in Compton. So she was in Compton, right? And Beyonce made sure you knew that she was in Compton because that was a part of the performance. But before we get into like the actual performance itself, I want to go through the nitty gritties of like the whole creative process that she went through. So that was the set, and it was all neon. It looked like a tennis ball just exploded, and everything was cohesive. It was dope. I love the color aspect of that with the location. Now, like the overall inspiration for the performance, like the creative direction, was very interesting to me. So as I said before, everything was neon, from the outfits, the set, the floor. There was a wall built that was neon. You know, all the instruments were neon. That's what stood out for me because, you know, me being a music fan and a music nerd, I was like, now where y'all get these neon violins from? Huh? Where, Beyonce? Where you get them? Where they do that at? To the point where like the string players who have like the tapes on their fingers, like if they're plucking and stuff like that, had like neon tape. So they had neon down to the T. So it was like nothing on set wasn't neon. So whatever little accessories that people needed, like I'm sure the guitar players got some neon picks. If somebody knows who played guitar in her performance and her set, like find them, put them in the comments so they can tell us if there was neon picks. Because my thing is, if you had a neon guitar and something happened with that guitar, you couldn't just be like, oh yeah, you know, I got a backup guitar in the trunk, you know, let me pull out my extra amp type of situation. Like, no. They had these custom made to be neon specifically for this performance. You know what I mean? And I wonder what they do with all that stuff now that the performance is done. Because I know they needed it to like rehearse and all these things and, you know, make sure the equipment worked and all of that. But now that the performance is done, y'all got all this neon stuff. What y'all doing with it? You know, I'm curious. But I love that concept of having everything neon. And at first when I was watching it, I was like, will everything kind of get like washed out a little bit? But it didn't. Like you were able to see all the things. And the only thing that wasn't neon would be little details of silver. Like the horn players had silver horns, and there was like the white and the stripes, the Adidas stripes in the girls' outfits, and then Beyonce had silver jewelry and like the garter, which was a moment, but we'll get into that. You know, in this creative direction with everything being one solid color reminded me of how Toby does a lot of his videos with like that light turquoise pastel kind of color. And I know Solange has done something like that too. So I don't know if he was the inspiration, but I know he's from Texas. So like, I don't know, Texas in the house. Maybe that was a moment. You know what else I thought might have inspired this too? Only because I know the people who do the creative direction for Chloe and Halle also works with Beyonce. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Chloe and Halle's performances during the COVID days. Like 2020, when Ungodly Hour came out and they were performing in their tennis court because award shows were closed and they had to do pre-recorded performances. It reminds me of that one performance of Do It where Chloe has on the yellow look and Halle has on the pink, and they're performing in the tennis court and everything. It just reminded me of that moment because the only other color I remember seeing was Beyonce's eyeshadow, which was like this purple kind of moment. So I was like, okay, like a little Chloe and Halle tease. But it might have been an inspiration for her or it might not. But it reminded me of that. And then also, of course, her Ivy Park release with the tennis courts and the soccer and all of that stuff, kind of like the college sporty type of aesthetic, that drop that she had. And of course, she had some Ivy Park pieces in the performance, like, you know, the intro part when the kids were walking in, and then also the girls' dress. So I was thinking like all of those things could have inspired this performance, or she was probably putting this performance together around the same time, I feel like. I don't know how long or how early they start prepping the Oscars, but it might not have taken her that long. Like if it took her 8 months to put together Coachella and it was like a track list of songs or a set list, this was only one song. And something that I noticed was that she was pulling from a lot of inspiration from her own work, which I'll get into. So it might not have taken her as long to put this together, but whichever came first, I can see the intersectional creativity. So let's get into the glam, right? So the fashion. When it comes to the outfits, I'm going to talk about the crew first before I get into Beyonce. The outfits that the dancers and her choir was wearing, with the dress, the poofy skirt, and then the crop top moment with the gloves. It reminded me of the dress that Beyonce wore during the On the Run 2 tour when she would sing Resentment. That really poofy gown. It's called Off-White is the brand. And it was, I forget the specifics. I'm going to put it here. I just read it, but I forgot to write it down. But it's Off-White. And they put a dress together. Well, it was on a runway, so I don't think it was custom. But it was a dress where it was poofy at the bottom. It was mostly white, but then it was like neon, like gradient moments trailing for her train. And then it looked like a crop top, and it like did a cutout around her boobs. And I think instead of doing a cutout around the boob, it just looked like a cutout under the boobs for the girls. And they just did all neon. So it was like all puffy at the bottom, and then like a cutout crop. And instead of like short sleeves, it was the long sleeves with the gloves. And that reminded me of the dress that she wore on that tour. And I was thinking maybe she pulled from her previous looks to come up with costume ideas for the girls. And I mean, that's dope to kind of like be able to be inspired and it's kind of dope to be able to, you know, pull from and recreate your own look, you know, as costumes. Not even like Beyonce's look, because of course Beyonce's look is always going to be like an elevated version of what the dancers wear, but to kind of have a moment that resembled a look that Beyonce did on stage in the past into a costume look was really cool to me. There was Adidas stripes on it, so I'm assuming Adidas partnered with them. I'm not sure if those tops were a part of her drop. I'm going to double check. But if not, it looked like pieces that they specifically made for her performance. But I know the kids who were walking in the entrance or the beginning of the performance with the cowboy, shout out, like, love a black cowboy moment, thanks to like Solange from When I Get Home. And plus they're from Houston, so like black cowboys are a thing. So I felt that that was cool that they had a girl ride on a horse. But they all were like in this like kid squad with the neon going on and rocking all the Ivy Park fits. So I'm like, yes, Beyonce, okay, I see you marketing your own merchandise in the performance, okay, as you're honoring Serena and Venus. Like, it was dope. I like that. You know, I see the businesswoman in her. And that's the type of stuff that I like to break down and discuss. That was pretty much it for the fashion that I wanted to talk about. The hair was really cool because it looked like it was inspired from Serena and Venus's hairstyle from back in the day. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I first heard about Serena and Venus, and they had the beads in their hair with the braids. And so for them to kind of recreate that look. And you know what else that look was kind of giving me? No shade, no shade, but it just reminded me of Rick James a little bit. And I was just thinking, Rick James, bitch, type of vibe. But they made it cute though, they made it cute. So now, let's get into Beyonce. I loved her look. I thought it was interesting and different, but I loved the pieces. Like, I loved the little poofiness at the top and the gloves. It was giving glamour, but like sexy. And, you know, she good to show you a little leg, okay? Beyonce always gonna show you a little sexiness. You know, like, she'll give you all this sexy, like, in her performances, in her, like, red carpet looks. But even in those things, it'll always be like a balance of classy and sexy. Even when she's being super sexy, there's still some type of class with it. And if she's being like super classy, there's always some type of like a little bit of like, you know, silhouette, maybe a little cleavage, maybe a slit, you know. Always giving like a little bit of a like, I think her cheat code when it came to like coming up in the industry is knowing that sex sells, and she sells it very well. but she sells it with talent. You know, there's some people selling sex in a way where it looks trashy, or they can't sing, or they can't do nothing. But the thing is, Beyonce gives you like the sensual, you know, type of thing, but she does it in a way where it's classy, and she actually has the talent. You know, and she said it a long time ago. I will see if I can try to find the clip. If not, then, you know, it is what it is. But I remember her saying, like, you know, yeah, sure, some people might see, like, all the sexy costumes and the outfits and everything, but I really want people to know me for my talent and know that, oh, she can really sing. Oh, she can really dance and perform. And 20 years later. I mean, this was when she first, like, went solo or was still with Destiny's Child when she said that. And look at her now. But I love the dress. I love the slit moment. The crystal garter belt. I was like, okay, that's different. Okay, Beyonce. Giving us leg jewelry. And which was something that I wanted to do in a creative project. So, you know, me and her are kind of like, I see you, B. I see you. And I love that it matched her earrings, which were like really large and, you know, round and bold and glamorous, you know. But I loved her look. She looked fabulous. Body snatched, curves is banging, you know. So, yeah, she looked great. And the hair, of course, she gave you the classic blonde Beyonce wig tease. She gave it. And she gave what was supposed to be gave. So, now let's get into the choreography. So, the choreography was primarily like dancer heavy. Beyonce had moments where she would like pop into like the choreo with the girls, but she kept it very simple for herself. And most of the dancing was done by the dancers. And it reminded me of moments of Formation when they would get into like the triangle look. And then it reminded me of moments from Mood Forever from Black is King. The extended version at the end where she's doing like the synchronized swimming moment. It looked like that, but out of water. And it looked like a blend of the synchronized dancing and Formation moments with them standing in formation. And I really liked that. And I felt like it was really cool that Beyonce did that, because when you watch Homecoming and she says like how hard she pushed herself and how after her pregnancy she was unsure if her stamina or her endurance would ever go back to what it was when she was younger. Like, she's already proved herself as a performer. Like, she's done the impossible when it comes to what somebody can do on stage. Like, she's flipped upside down while singing. You know, she's hung up upside down and landed onto a stage. You know, she spun in a circle during the Formation tour. She also did that moment with Freakum Dress where she was doing the back bend while she was singing, modulating and singing higher, and then belted like, take me higher, or whatever that note was. Hey y'all, it's editor Nerese. Can we just take a moment and appreciate my perfect pitch and the fact that I was on key without even referencing that video? Like, did that. And I was just like, what can't this bitch do? You know, and so she's already proven herself when it came to the prime of her career in her youth. Now she's at a point where I really feel like she's starting to take it easier on herself. She a mom. She done popped out 3 biddies. You know what I'm saying? And I think right now she's at a point where, like she said, she's not going to push herself like how hard she pushed herself for Coachella. But she can relax and lay back because she's already proven herself. She can do the choreography. She can still keep up with it. It's not like she can't do it. She could do it. But it wasn't the song that called for her to really have to do it. And I feel like instead, in that moment, being that she is who she is and she has the budget that she has, she can afford to hire a team of dancers and put younger talent on and create an opportunity for other people to dance and really be able to build a production around other people dancing and making it like doing all the different formations. Like, you need people to do all those like images and moments. So yeah, I felt like that was really cool. And then she could just kind of be like the centerpiece of it all while everybody is just like, you know, moving around her, and she just, you know, gives. So I thought that was really cool, and I really wanted to talk about that because I noticed that when I was watching the performance, and I was like, okay, how much is Beyonce going to dance in this? And she didn't really do a whole lot of dancing, but I was okay with it, you know, because there was so much more going on around her that looked like art versus her putting all the pressure on herself to have to do all the choreography. You know, she didn't have to do that. And it was still dope. The one thing that I also wanted to mention about the dancing was that Blue was in the performance and she was dancing. Now granted, the first time I watched it, I didn't notice her until the very end when everybody got into that pose and everything and she was right in the front. But until I watched some of the clips over again that people were posting, until Beyonce posted her clips, I didn't see her until like the very end. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So it was so cute. Like, Blue is growing up before our eyes. I remember when Beyonce first announced that she was pregnant with Blue. Now Blue is like 35 years old, paying Beyonce's bills, and it's just to see our baby girl just grow up before our eyes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the camera angles. For the most part, they give you like the angles that most performances would do. Like, you know, the close-up of Beyonce, the backup of the dancers, the set, you know, some B-roll shots, you know, the other people like the bands and everything like that. But I noticed Beyonce loves her aerial shots, okay? Like, very similar to the shot from Beychella when, you know, she was doing Top Off the Maybach. Top Off. Not me saying the whole chorus as the title. Top Off the Maybach. I got the top off the Maybach. You know that song? I sound like somebody auntie. What's that Top Off the Maybach song? But you know that shot that she did where I'm the only ladies that are really looking in the room. And the camera's just kind of like over her. She did a shot like that that was really cool. And when they were in formation around her, there was like a lot of those aerial shots. And let me tell you, baby girl loves a drone, okay? From Black is King, if you remember Black is King, Find Your Way Back, like leading into the song when there's that drone shot coming down on her. And the drone that's getting the shot of them, like the kids like walking in. I'm like, okay, baby girl said, look, we gonna use some of these shots and you gonna know this is a Beyonce production, okay? Like, she got her signature, like, you know, angles and movements and stuff like that. And I love that. I love that she has her style. Even though it looks completely new and fresh and different, you know, she'll pull elements from different projects and then just kind of amplify it here or shift it around here. And it becomes like Beyonce's signature. And I love that. Not only as Beyonce the performer, but Beyonce the creative director and the visual director. Love it. That's why Beyonce is my girl. This is the last part that I wanted to get into, which of course is the most important part, the music. But you know, the creative in me wanted to talk about all the visual things and just the different elements and the moving parts that made her performance as dope as it was. And you can tell that she put time and effort and work into it. And you know, I want to take the time to point out all those things, you know, because I know some people, they get hype about a thing and then move on to the next thing. But like Beyonce, you can tell she puts a lot of energy and effort into a less than 6-minute performance, but it's going to be something that's iconic that you look back on and say, wow, look at all the work and energy and talent that it took to put such a production together. So with that said, as Beyonce has said herself in the Homecoming documentary, the music is the heartbeat of the show. So I wanted to save the best part for last and get into the music of the Beat Alive performance at the Oscars. First off, I want to make a little shout out to Drewski on the horns. You can't tell me that wasn't Drewski. I'm like, let me find out he got a little side hustle on aside from comedy. You know, I don't know who that man is, but shout out to him. He was killing it. But I love that she had her own like separate bands and orchestra and the strings and everything. Like, she had a lot of musical elements that made it really dope, from people who play guitar and drums and this and that, and then the horn section, and then you got the strings. You had somebody playing harp, you had somebody playing piano. They could have very much have just done an electric piano situation. She had a whole grand piano made. And then took a picture on the piano, like, you know, real cute. And I love that. I'm just like, where did she get these instruments made, and how? How did she do it? And you know what else too? I want to know whose idea it was to do the whole neon everything. And I want to know what the reaction was when the person who did the budget found out that that's what they wanted to do. I want to see those two things. You know what else was really dope too? Aside from how vast the musical components were for the performance. But it was all black people, from what I can see. You know, there might have been some other folks, I don't know. But they all look black to me. And I love that Beyonce is really about that. Like having like a all black, you know, dancers, all black string players, all black horn section. I love that. And, you know, and it looks like it's young talent too. Like people who are really young, just trying to figure out their way in the game. And for her to give them an opportunity like this, like, I love to see it. So, I know I talked about the kids walking in like 8 different times. But leading into the shot, like preparing the view to be Beyonce, like the reveal. Because let me tell you something, Beyonce gonna give you an entrance. She gonna find a way to make a elaborate entrance. And that's really what it is. Like the start of the show is, you know, it's gotta be, it's gotta come hard or go home. And she wasn't going home. She might have gone home after that Will incident, but it's like, nah, I kid, I joke. See, no, that's a tasteful joke. But she wasn't going home, you know, but that's what people be saying on Twitter, like, get my car. The reveal to Beyonce was really dope. And the beginning was giving me like a homecoming feel. Like it felt like, you know, the chant and the call and response was like, let them know where we at, you know, type of thing. I love that. I love that moment. It felt black. It felt elegant, but it felt like, you know, a sprinkle of like some hood sauce in there. I love that they mixed in Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, the melody, into the performance before they got into Be Alive. Feels so good to be alive. Or however they did it. I loved it. I loved it. I love that part. And then they got into the song. Now, Beyonce's vocals, you know, she finds ways to sound better performing live than she does on the studio album, which amazes me. And even to this day, like as she grows older, her voice, it's more mature, and I know her voice has probably changed after her pregnancies and stuff like that. But she hasn't lost the beat. And I wonder, like, what is her vocal routine? You know what I mean? Like, does she do warm-ups? Like, how does she keep her voice intact? Like, with the agility and everything. Especially, like, being a dancer and how she belts, and she's such a power vocalist. And for someone who's an extensive touring artist, you know, she's done 100 to 130 show tours around the world, 2 hours singing, dancing full out. Voice don't ever sound like it cracks. She might crack once in a while, but who don't as a singer? You know what I mean? But to see her grow and her just still sound so clean as a vocalist, and her agility and her runs, it was everything. Like, she sounded amazing, and yeah, I loved it. I loved the whole performance. Overall, I really love that Beyonce is at a point in her career where she can do 2 things that really amazes me. One, she no longer needs to pull from too many other people for her inspiration. I'm sure she still does. Oh, my camera's dying. Hopefully I can finish this. I'm sure she still does pull from other people for her inspiration, but she's at a point in her career where she's so dope at what she does, she can recreate something she's already done and make it look new, and it'd be like, oh, I've seen this before. And it's like, yeah, it's Beyonce. Like, and it's not in a way where it's like she just redo what she's already done. Like, naturally people do that, like, especially with choreography. But she'll do it in a way where it'll be like a fresh new look on a move that she's done for like 20 years. And plus, people want to see the classic choreography, you know. But in terms of the creativity with the fashion and like the angles of the camera and, you know, the looks and the choreography, just kind of being able to pull from things that she's already done from large projects like her films and her and Homecoming. You know, those are large projects where you can pull from like one little element or maybe two little elements and then kind of like, you know, mix it in a pot and make it into like a dope, fresh performance. And that's what she did with Be Alive. And like I said before, I feel like she's at a point where she can like relax a little bit and double down on the production in a way where she's creating opportunities for other people. She's putting other people on, and she can afford to make a huge production. You know, like, the purse is deep, honey. The purse is deep. And she has no limits to her creative imagination. You know, she has the budget and the talent to be able to create her visions and really make it come to life and make it dope. And I love to see that for her, you know. She's not in a stage where she's trying to come up or trying to make her way in the industry. Like, her legacy is solidified. Her respect is solidified. You know, the talent is there. And she's a creative before anything. Like, yes, she sings. Yes, she dances. But she's not like an artist that's taking orders from people or hiring people to do the creative direction. Like, she's usually behind the scenes with all of that. And she has people working for her to help bring it to life. But a lot of times she's directing and putting it together. And I love an artist like that who's very hands-on in the creative process. And that's very much how I am as an artist. Yet, I'm working my way to get to a budget where I can afford all my creative visions like where she is. But, you know, to see her be there, I'm just so proud of her. I love all the hard work that she did. You can clearly see that she put time and energy and effort into this. And congratulations to her. Congratulations to everybody who was a part of this performance. It was beautiful. It was the best performance of the night. I mean, and Beyonce usually does that, you know. And I feel like the next era is going to push the envelope and set the standard when it comes to visual creation and her creativity, because Black is King was amazing for me visually, like the music, the message. And I'm like, this isn't even like a Beyonce solo album. And you see all this energy and effort that she put into the visuals, from the fashion. It's like 6 different looks per song, you know, and all the locations and everything. So I'm just like so curious to see what she does for this next album. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to be amazing. And, you know, her creative eye is just so dope. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what she does. And yeah, that's my review. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Let's kiki in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the vibes of House of Divinity. It's your girl Nerese, and I'm outie. Love you all, divine ones, and I'll catch you in the next video. Deuces.